Welcome to Mobility Matters, the biweekly live stream show covering transportation topics of interest presented by the CITT. Now, that stands for the Citizens Independent Transportation Trust, the organization overseeing the use of the half-penny sales surtax in Miami-Dade County. Thank you for joining us here on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, wherever you're watching us from, streaming directly from Community News Network on the social media platforms of Miami's community newspapers. I'm Cheryl Mizell, CITT Ambassador Program Coordinator, and today for your regular host, Javier Betancourt. He is the CITT Executive Director, and I come on the show to keep you informed about the volunteer CITT ambassadors who ride transit as secret shoppers and use a mobile app to give feedback about their experiences in exchange for rewards. And that's all to help us to improve transit services in Miami-Dade County. By the way, are you a frequent transit rider? Well, then you want to stay right here because later in the show we'll talk a little bit more about how you can earn rewards such as transit passes, Uber and Lyft credits, city bike sharing credits, as well as get around car sharing credits. Sounds pretty good, right? But right now, I'd like to briefly introduce you to our featured guest for today's Mobility Matters. It's Women's History Month, and of course, we're very lucky to have the first woman winner of actually in the 40-year history of the Miami-Dade Transit Bus Rodeo. She's a 22-year seasoned professional who loves her work, clearly. Meet Telisa Ruan. She's a Metrobus operator with Miami-Dade Department of Transportation and Public Works.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. And as I said when I met you coming in, you're even more beautiful in person than you are on the cameras I've seen.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I really mean it. And thank you so much for being with us today. But Talisa, before we get started with our conversation, I'd like to reach out to our viewing community. Please visit our webpage to learn more about the CITT and how you can become a CITT Trust member or a CITT ambassador. That's miamidade.gov/CITT. And as I mentioned earlier, if you or someone you know is a frequent transit rider who likes to give feedback, everybody likes to give their feedback about what needs to be done to make transportation better. And if you would like to receive rewards for that feedback, then just take a picture of the QR code that you see on the screen when it appears, and it will take you directly to the webpage where you can learn more about the program and how to apply to become a CITT ambassador. Now, in my conversation with Telisa Ruan, we're going to learn about her as a person, the career path that led her to her phenomenal win, as well as what's next on her journey. Telisa, let's get started by you telling us just a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Telisa Ruan. I was born here in Miami, Florida.
A native Miami?
Yes.
Excellent.
Raised in South Miami Heights, attended Southridge High School.
Okay.
I graduated in 97. I had my daughter at the age of 22.
Okay.
20, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And I started working for transit in 2001 and been here ever since.
Wow. So it's it. Like I said, but you must have been 10 when you started working because you maintained your
I started at the age of 22. Actually, my birthday had came. I started in 23.
I see. And what are some of your favorite things to do, like when you're not behind the wheel?
I'm actually a homebody. I'm okay with being home, but my hobbies is like decorating. I love doing like balloon arches. I love I'm good with my hands. I love fixing things. My fiance, he was like, "Oh, go cook something." I'm like, "No, that's not my thing." He said, I prefer you to build me a house because I like building. I like
see.
fixing things. I'm my father's first son. I would do an oil
Ah,
change. I would go fix the pipes, the AC unit. That's just something I would do.
interesting, interesting. And you mentioned you went to South Ridge
Southridge.
High. Okay. And so you grew up in the south part of Miami-Dade County.
Yes.
Okay. And what was it like during those years?
It was, I mean, it was high school. I was very quiet. Same now, just quiet to
Uh-huh.
myself.
Were you using public transportation back then?
My grandmother's house is literally around the corner from Southridge, so we used to walk to school. I think
Okay.
the most we did for transit was we would catch the number one bus to US 1 and would catch the one bus to Dayland South to go to the flea market up north.
And if I remember reading or listening to one of the stories, you talked about how your mother also was a driver.
It was my grandmother. My
Ah,
grandmother, she worked for the school board until she retired. My mother also worked for the school board. My aunt, she drove for MTA.
oh my
My
goodness.
uncle, he worked for Greyhound. So it's like my family is bus operators.
Gotcha.
So I guess I
It was
feel
in your
it.
blood.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your career. Tell us about your path to actually becoming a bus operator.
That's funny because I just told the story the other day. Um, I used to work at the toll plaza, at the Don Shula toll plaza.
Okay.
And it was this one particular driver. He's come through my lane every night around about 10 o'clock or so. And his name was Kevin Sims. And he was like, "Hey, you need to come out from out of this toll booth and get this real money." So I'm like, "No, driving bus is not for me." The biggest thing I ever drove was my father's pickup truck.
Okay.
He was like, "That's okay. They'll come and train you. Just come on, get this money." I said no for about a week or so. And I thought about it. I'm like, because I didn't have any plans set and forth for my life. So I was like, let me go try it.
Sure.
So I went to go, my brother took me downtown to apply. 2 weeks later, transit called me and it was like, yeah, it was like by the grace of God. It was like, it happened like really, really fast. So Kevin Sims, I appreciate you.
Yes, we all have people in our lives who gave us that information, that push, that training that took us to the next level and
Yes.
put our lives on a different trajectory. Everyone should be so lucky to have a Kevin Sims in their
Yes,
life.
yes.
So now tell us about the training that you had to go through once you accepted the position.
Well, well, first of all, I have to tell the public that they are hiring for transit.
Uh-huh.
We need operators. It's very easy to apply, but also before you apply, go to the DMV and get your general knowledge, passenger endorsement, and your air brake test. You just get the permit. So when you do apply, that you have all those documentations ready for when they do call you for hire.
Very good. So, as she said, you can visit our website, Miami-Dade.gov, and look out for county jobs, and you will find the path to filling out an application online there. Excellent. So, I have to tell you, Talisa, when I saw that you had won the Miami-Dade County Transit Bus Rodeo, I just had, all of a sudden, I had this vision of the movie Speed with Sandra Bullock driving that bus and saving all her passengers' lives on that bus, and the way she was driving. I just had this vision of you in the competition competing. So that was, I was like, wow, that's just amazing. That just to see a woman as as graceful as you, just taking control of such a huge vehicle. Yes. So tell us about the competition for this for the rodeo and how it works and how were you inspired to even enter?
Okay, well, to enter for the rodeo, you have to qualify for it. You cannot be late. It's like for a year. You cannot be late. You can't have no accidents. You can't have a certain amount of days off. You can't take a lot of days off. So you have to qualify to participate into the bus rodeo. So my thought process was, I qualify, so why not try it? I have participated in the bus rodeo in 2020 before COVID hit. And I didn't do too bad then, but I didn't know what to expect
Sure.
then. So that was my first time. So I had a little experience in knowing what to expect for this coming rodeo. But for the rodeo itself, it's like different obstacles that you have to maneuver through: cones, your left turns, right turns, your reverse, your passenger stop, the serpentine. So it's different obstacles, but you try to avoid as many cones as possible. So you won't have like a whole lot of points.
And you placed first in the Miami-Dade County rodeo.
Yes.
And tell us about that. What did that feel like when you were told that you were the winner?
Actually, when other operators was doing their course, they was coming to me and said, "Oh, you won. You won." I'm like, "No, I don't think I did." Like, "No, you got this. You got this." So when we had went into the zoo to do the award ceremony part, and I seen it, they was calling the third and the second. I know the second guy who placed, he did very well. So when they called his name, I'm like, "Oh my God, I got it," and it was shocking.
Wow.
But I was overwhelmed. I'm like, I was floored. I'm like, okay, I did this.
Wow.
But it's like every year, someone has to win.
Sure.
But I'm the first woman to win. And that's when everything started to spiral as far as, oh, the first woman. And it was huge.
So did you know you were the first woman when you won?
I did not.
So later, that information came later.
No, it came at the moment they spoke it out.
I see. You didn't, but you
I
didn't
didn't,
know.
I didn't know.
Yeah, you
I
did
did
know
not
the
know.
record you were breaking.
I did not know. So now I'm in history for Miami-Dade Transit as the first woman to win the bus rodeo.
You are in the world records. That is really, really cool. What'd your family think?
My daughter, I was speaking to my daughter yesterday, and she's like, "Mom, I used to Google your name, and I used to see your Facebook page. Now you're everywhere." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, your mama's famous."
Ah, that's so
I
nice.
just play with her.
Oh, that's so nice. That is so nice. So what happens next now that you've won the Miami-Dade competition? I understand there's more to go. How far can you go?
Next weekend, I go to Orlando to participate in the state rodeo with also the mechanics. There are 3 mechanics that place for the bus rodeo that we had a couple of weeks ago, and they are also going to Orlando with me. But I'm the only driver to go to Orlando to participate in the bus rodeo.
Okay, so we have to like hold our prayers for you to win the state competition.
Yes, thank you.
Wow. So do you know if a woman has ever won the state competition?
I do not know.
So you might be breaking records there.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope that is the case.
Absolutely. So if you just joined us, started watching, this is Mobility Matters, presented by the CITT, Citizens Independent Transportation Trust. And we're on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. You could be viewing us either live or on demand later, streaming directly from the Community News Network on Miami Community Newspapers' social media platforms. You can also follow the CITT on social media at GoCITT, Transportation Trust, as well as hashtag CITT Ambassador. And please remember to visit our pages to like us. We like to be liked. And again, I'm Cheryl Mizell, your host. and the CITT Ambassador Program Coordinator. My guest is Telisa Ruan. She is the Metrobus operator with Miami-Dade Department of Transportation and Public Works, and she is the first woman winner in the 40-year history of the Miami-Dade Transit Bus Rodeo. So, Talisa, can you, just say maybe a little bit more about, if you have any advice for other women who are interested in becoming drivers, or maybe just thinking about it and they haven't worked up their nerves to,
Yes, I
to
do.
take that big step.
Yes. Come apply. It's a career, not just a job. It would change your life. It changed mine. Um, it's an amazing job. It is. You have your benefits. It's lovely. Because, like I said, I was able to purchase my first home before the age of 30. And I told myself, I said, I'm going to purchase a house before 30. And I was able to do that due to transit. I didn't want to drive a bus. I really didn't. That wasn't my path to go. But I needed a job at the time. But also, it made me look where I am now.
Sure.
I'm set. They put me in a nice position. And my seniority is good as well.
So you get what happens when you get your seniority? What does that offer you?
The seniority is based in a ranking order. It's like I came in 2001, so my badge number is 2710. Somebody who came in years before me, their badge number is higher than mine. So everything is based off a seniority order. So especially when they go pick for work, it's based off of seniority. First, whoever been here first, they pick first, and they go down the chain.
Shifts?
Yeah, the shifts. So basically, when you first come to transit, don't expect to get the good shifts. You got to start from the bottom and work your way up, but it's worth the wait.
I hear you. So when you say being a bus operator is not just a job, it's an experience. What do you mean by that?
You experience a lot in transit. You see a lot of things, a lot of good things. You have the opportunity to meet people. And like I said, like I told you earlier off camera, was that I have the tendency of taking my passengers out to dinner or eat, and I'm that person. I love to give back. I would take my kids, and my sister, she would normally cook, because I told you earlier, I'm not the cooker. So she would cook, and we would go downtown. We would go feed the homeless, and some of those homeless people they are my passengers.
I see.
So that's just part of me, of what I do. I'm that person to give back.
And then it comes back to you.
Yes. As long as I have it to give, I'm here for it.
And you said you have met so many wonderful people, as well as passengers, as well as coworkers.
Yeah, my coworkers.
Yeah, tell us about your team.
It took a while for me to warm up to my coworkers, because, like I said, I'm a very quiet person. I didn't break out. No. I am a very shy person. I'm very to myself. You can ask my coworkers. It took them. They say, "Oh, she's so quiet. She don't say anything. She just get her work and go." But that was me for years. I didn't come out my shell until 2020.
Wow, recently?
Yes, until 2020, I just finally came out of my shell and started. I'm that person where I would speak to everybody. Good morning. Have a good day. Good morning. Have a good weekend. I'm always speaking. But I was just speak and go.
You're right. You're not engaging.
Right. So I just came out of my shell when COVID hit, when you're supposed to be by yourself. I started talking to talking more with them.
I see.
And interacting more.
Excellent. And you also worked as, or with the Transit Honor Guard. Tell us about that experience.
Yes. It was, I was able to join the Honor Guard in 2020. That's my coming out moment. And that was pleasurable. It gave us the opportunity to go stand in attention for our fallen colleagues who passed away. So that give us great honor to be there for our fallen colleagues because, like I said, in 2020, COVID was really big, and so transit took a hard hit with a lot of operators and people within the county who passed away. So we was there for them and showed our respects.
I'm sure that that took a lot of emotional energy to do that. So you did it for a year. For a year, you take. How does it work? You serve on the guard, and then they rotate people onto
Well,
that service.
no, it's like tomorrow we do have a service tomorrow to do.
Okay, so you're still on the guard.
Yeah, I'm still on honor
Oh, okay,
guard. I
okay.
had just joined the honor guard in 2020.
Oh, now I understand.
So we have a service tomorrow. It is the TWU local 291 JW. He had passed away, so we are serving in his service tomorrow.
May he rest in peace. One of the things I can remember during Black History Month, my first year working at the county, and there was a group that came around singing from transportation.
Trans expressions. They come for like Black History Month, Christmas. They came for Christmas. I was inside the break room just dancing with them. So
I did too.
That was nice.
I was very nice. I said they bring all the the soul to to the county.
Yeah, they had the moves, so it was nice.
But yeah, it was nice that they came and sang. So I'm hearing about all these other things behind the scenes, that the Department of Transportation does. So that's good stuff. Do you have any particular like tips for people, like for these ambassadors that are joining and riding, or just passengers in general? Do you have any tips or that you shared in order for them to make the most of their rides and the services that are available?
The only tip I could say is safety first. And I noticed, I'm a bus driver, so I see a lot of hazards that pedestrians don't pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say when getting off of the bus, please do not walk in front of the bus. And that's a lot of people be on their cell phones and don't be aware, or just don't be alert.
Mm-hmm.
And that would take a toll on the operator if something tragic would happen. So we don't want that to happen. So just be more aware of when you get off the bus, just stay on the curb. When we're pulling into the bus terminal or the bus stop, don't walk towards the bus. Just stay there. We'll come to you in safety. That was one of my biggest things is safety.
Mm-hmm. Now, how does your driving translate to when you're driving a car? I mean, do you still maintain those speed limits, or do you like a little speed when you get into a car?
I want to say no comment.
I mean, like as opposed to driving on the highway as opposed to the streets. Most of them.
In my car is,
Mm-hmm.
I guess by being a bus operator, you're used to driving the bus, but when in your car, you still think you're in the bus. I just
see.
pulled up into a bus stop in my vehicle. Or you have the tendency, bus operators have the tendency or stopping at a railroad track in their vehicle, and people blowing, like, why are they blowing?
Right.
But you're in your car, not the bus.
So why do buses stop at the railroad track?
We have to watch and look to see if any trains is coming before we proceed across the track.
So that's just an extra
safety.
step,
Yes,
because
for
you
safety.
are carrying so many people. It's not
Yes.
just 2 or 3 people. A lot of people will be
Right.
affected.
Correct.
I always wonder if there was some. I mean, that makes sense, and that's what I thought. But I know if there were like other reasons for doing that as
Safety.
well. Gotcha. Well, is there anything? Let me see else that you'd like to share in terms of the rodeo experience that you can tell us about that you haven't told us? Have you been getting other speaking engagements? People inviting you to?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Winning the rodeo has opened a floodgate of multiple things. I had the opportunity to join the director with the Women's Conference this month.
I see.
I also had breakfast with the mayor.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's special.
Yes, so I had the breakfast had for the women in different departments of the county to come to the 29th floor in downtown, and we had breakfast and had a conversation. So that was nice. I also had an interview with the Channel 6 News. So this rodeo has opened a whole lot of doors for me.
And actually, I think you said it's been I guess one of your biggest accomplishments.
It has been one of my biggest accomplishments in Miami-Dade Transit. I have made history in Miami-Dade Transit. Like, you cannot erase
You
that.
can't erase
Yeah,
that.
I'm plastered all across Google. So I'm like, okay. Like my daughter said, "Mom, you're famous."
So, I mean, in terms of like challenges going forward, what do you see like in front of you? I mean, what are some of the milestones that you may have in your vision and your sight? Are you thinking, I mean, what about other members of your family? You mentioned about how so many members of your family are engaged. Are they reaching out to you to also get engaged and to asking for guidance to get involved in the transportation industry?
Yes. My sister called me yesterday. Now, I've been telling her for years, years to come apply. She said the same thing. I said, I don't want to drive a bus. But she called me yesterday and she went and applied yesterday.
Oh, wow. Wow, that is great news.
Yeah, so she went and applied. So we're crossing our fingers that she get a call. I told her to make sure she go take her air brake CDL test and her passenger endorsement and her air brake test. So she come and get this money too. I'm that Sims. I'm Kevin Sims.
You're her Kevin Sims.
Yeah, I'm her Kevin Sims.
Yeah, and the audience can't see Louis Espinosa over there. He's applauding as well. Happy to hear that news.
But do she have to add my name?
Oh, you get a $5,000. No, she
No,
gets
she
gets a
she would get a $5,000
What about you?
bonus.
Do you get a referral bonus as well?
I do. 5,000? Oh,
500.
Okay, for 500. I'll take the 500.
All right.
So make sure you add my name.
That sounds good. Oh, well, it has really been a pleasure getting to know you a little, a little better than just seeing you driving behind that bus. But you really, I mean, you really make driving a bus look great. I mean, and you just have so much poise and grace. And I even notice your nails, even when you're turning. I said, she does everything so graceful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. All right. Well, anything else you'd like to share before we close out, Talisa?
To the public, thank you for riding Miami-Dade Transit.
And I'm sure, as you said, that you love your passengers. I'm sure they love you too.
And they do.
I'm sure they do. How could they not?
They really do. I had a passenger out on the 204, and I didn't think they noticed, the news or social media of the bus rodeo. He got on the bus, he didn't say anything, but when he got off the bus, he pulled his phone out and said, it was the picture of me. He said, "You thought I didn't notice." So my passengers, they're great.
Yeah,
they're great.
They heard. They got the news.
Yeah. It's like, oh, congratulations. Like, thank you. Like, they noticed.
Well, keep up the great work. Like I said, you make you make driving a bus just look you make it look easy, but you make it look grand. And but I think it's really your personality and what you bring that really makes the difference. How you care about people and how you care about what you're doing. You take it seriously, and you do a good job because you take it seriously.
Yes.
So keep up the great work.
Thank you. I will.
Well, I thank you, audience, for joining us today. If you missed part of the show, you can watch from the beginning. Just check back for the links for the full video. And a very special thanks to our guest, Telisa Ruan, Metrobus operator at the Miami-Dade Department of Transportation and Public Works, and the big winner of the rodeo. And we're going to continue to root for her to win the state competition and as far as she wants to go. I'm not sure if there's a national competition, but you let us know and we'll be rooting for you that as well.
Thank you.
And viewers, remember to visit the CITT website to learn more about becoming a CITT Trust member or a CITT ambassador. And you can also visit the Department of Transportation's website to learn more at miamidade.gov/transportation. I'm Cheryl Mizell, your host and CITT Ambassador Program Coordinator. Please join us again in 2 more weeks when Javier Betancourt returns as your host of Mobility Matters. And until then, keep moving forward.